Hey guys, it's Johnny, back with another fantasy season of the challenge. This season I have decided to call Enemies at War. Um, it is sort of like a rival season. Well, I shouldn't say sort of, it is a rival season. Um, it will have same-sex partners. I took 8 male teams and 8 female teams, and then I had 3 alts for each side. First, I'm going to get into each of the teams and explain their rivalries, and then I will go into the format of the season and then how the final's going to work. Okay, so the first team that I have is Nani and Cara. We've seen them fight between War of the Worlds 1 and 2. Nani on War of the Worlds 1 had thought that her and Cara were kind of friends, at least enough to where she wouldn't have to worry about Cara coming for her. But as we know, Cara decided she was going to come for her. And then in the next season, which was last season, we saw their rivalry really get heated. Nani pretty much said that Cara wasn't a good person, that she was miserable, and I kind of agree. But I would like to kind of just see how their dynamic would work out when they were forced to work together. I think they could do really well together if they could put their shit aside, but I'm not sure if that would happen. So the next team that I have is Kayla and Melissa. Their rivalry kind of stemmed from vendettas, where Melissa and Cam had gotten into an argument, and then Kayla basically told Melissa that she needed to chill out, and then Melissa got really offended by that. And then it carried over into Final Reckoning, where Melissa very aggressively attempted to quote-unquote talk to Kayla, and Kayla was like, nah, bitch, get out my face. And then they had a physical altercation and then got sent home night 1. They seem to be not fighting as much this season, but if they were forced to work together, I think it would be really interesting to see how it plays out. I don't know if they would work well together, but I would really like to see it because I think it would be very, very entertaining. So the next team that I put together was Maddie and Ashley. Obviously, we saw them just recently get into a fight because Bear decided to fire off an extinguisher in their room where Ashley and all the girls were. And then Ashley had spit all of the chemicals back onto Bear, and then Maddie decided to basically stick her nose where it didn't belong and then get into a fight with Ashley. And then Maddie threw some low blows, and then Ashley threw some back. I think they're fine now, but they would still put them together because of how fresh it is. But I think it would be extremely interesting to see if they could get along when they have to work together. So the next team is Cam and Tori. The fans have kind of always pitted them against each other. They never really had an issue until this past season. They obviously were working on opposite sides of the house, and I just think that it would be really interesting to see these two kind of work together, because I actually think they kind of play similar games, so I just think it would be really cool to see how they pull that in together. The next team that I have put together is Amanda and Jenna. Their rivalry stems from Invasion of the Champions, where the entire house was talking about the rumor that Jenna had hooked up with Bruno, but for some reason Amanda was the one that got all the heat for it. And then they've always kind of had issues with each other. It came to a head on War of the Worlds 1, where Amanda basically told Jenna that Zach was on Bumble after they had gotten eliminated from Final Reckoning. it would be a very dynamic duo to see together, and I think they could perform well if they could put their stuff aside, so I would like to see what they would do. So next I have put Laurel and Ninja. Now, we saw them go into an elimination against each other last season, where it was very controversial because Laurel technically finished first, but she had missed a peg, and then Ninja had randomly went to go put it back in. We're not going to talk about that elimination because I think it's bullshit, but I think they would be great partners. There's obviously a little bit of tension between them, so that they fit the theme. I really just want to see Laurel back to fuck with the fans, to be completely honest, but yeah, I think they would be a great duo together. Next team that I have picked is a rookie team. It is Nora and Jasmine. They are both from Are You the One Season 8, and their rivalry comes from Nora was talking to Kai, but Kai was also talking to Jasmine. And when Nora found that out, her and Jasmine had a huge blow up, almost fist fought, and ironically, in the end, they ended up being each other's perfect match. So I think it would be an interesting dynamic to see them work together. I really enjoy Jasmine. I'm not such a fan of Nora, but I think that they would both do well in this environment, so I'd really like to see what they would bring. Okay, and the last female team that I have actually put on the cast are also rookies. They are Kemi and Bella from Big Brother 21. They started off being friends in the house, but then Bella kind of turned on Kemi and ended up voting her out. Their beef kind of stemmed a little bit more after the show, where Kemi basically called Bella out for being fake, and then, yeah, so I would like to see them. I really enjoy Kemi. I think she would be great socially. And Bella's kind of just there to be her partner, to be honest. But, yeah, I would like to see how they do. So, the first alternate team that I've picked is Jennifer Lee and Dee. They didn't make the cast because, truthfully, I don't really care to see either of them back. But if this was a theme that happened within the next few seasons, I feel like they would be a shoo-in to be pairs. They would probably go early, but who cares? Somebody needs to go early, so I put them here as alternates. So the next team that I have as alternates are Georgia Harrison and Kaylee Morris. We obviously saw them get into it on War of the Worlds 2, where Georgia felt like Kaylee was coming for her, which, I mean, she was. But, yeah, I don't really care for either of them either, so that's why they're also alternates. But I think that they could do okay. It definitely would be entertaining to watch, though, so. And the last alternate team for the females that I have is Anissa and Veronica. Their rivalry stems from Dirty 30, where they hooked up, but then post-show, Veronica got really salty, claiming that Anissa outed her relationship with Rachel, which we all knew about, and then tried to say that Anissa, forced herself on Veronica when it was very clearly consensual. It's a bunch of bullshit, to be completely honest. I love Anissa, but I really don't want to see Veronica back, so that's why they're alternates, but I could see it happening. So the first guy team that I have put together is Josh and Pauly. They were friends at one point, but obviously we saw their big blow-up last season. Pauly got mad because Josh sent Wes into elimination, which in my opinion was completely unwarranted, but whatever. Obviously, Pauly is dramatic. I just think that it would be so funny to see them work together, because I know Pauly would be mad and I would love it. The next team that I picked was Tony and Cory. Their rivalry stems from Final Reckoning with Pastagate. There's not really much more to say than that, because truthfully it was fucking ridiculous. But yeah, they would be a good team together, so I put them together. So the next pair that I picked was Kyle and Rogan. They came into Vendettas as Vendettas. Rogan apparently slept with Kyle's ex-girlfriend, so They don't really like each other. They've never liked each other throughout the seasons that they've been on together. And I really think it would be funny to see their two egos clash. And when they're forced to work together, see what would happen. So the next pair that I put together is Jordan and Wes. Just in the last episode, they got into a huge argument about some dumb shit on Wes's part. It stems from the previous season where they were working on opposite sides. They're both powerhouses, so obviously they would do well together, but I don't know if they could stop from fighting to be able to get to the ends, but it would definitely be entertaining to watch. So next we have Nelson and Derek. Their rivalry stems from Dirty 30, where they got into a drunk-ass fight, which Nelson ended up getting disqualified from. There's not really much more to say than that, but they would definitely dominate. So next, I decided to put Josie and Shane. Their rivalry originated from Champs vs. Stars 3. They didn't really get along on that season. Shane kind of called Josie out for not being a good competitor. And then when Josie and Shane were on Final Reckoning, it kind of spilled over into that season when Shane and Devon got into a fight, and that was obviously Josie's partner. I love my gays, so obviously I put them together, and I would love to see how they work together. I think they could make it pretty far. So the next team that we have is Jay and Cory Brooks. They were both on X on the Beach Season 2 together, and they basically just fought over Morgan, really, because she was kind of playing them both. I would like to see them together. I think it would be a good dynamic. So the last team that I have picked to be on the cast is Justin and Max from Are You the One 8. Throughout the season, they were in a relationship, basically. They were together the most of the time until, like, the last couple episodes when they realized they weren't a match. But post-show on Twitter, they were feuding a lot. I like them both, so I think I would really enjoy seeing them work together. As messy as it would be, it would definitely be lit. So the first alternate team that I picked was Bananas and Devon. I really cannot stand either of them, so that's why they're alternates, because I know they'd get cast, but I don't want them to be. The rivalry started on Rivals 3, where Bananas and Vince kind of bullied Cheyenne, who was Devon's partner. It carried over into Vendettas, as we saw, and then it came to a head on Final Reckoning. Bananas and Devon were originally supposed to be partners, but then Devon's dad died. So then he came back as Cory's partner when they were mercenaries, and then they got into that huge fight where Devon followed him around the house because he called Nelson the R word. It was a huge mess, but it would definitely be funny to watch them work together. So the next alternate guys pair that I put was Theo and Idris. They've been going back and forth on Twitter. I guess they didn't really get along in the house. I don't really care for either of them, but yeah. So the last alternate team that I have is Abram and Thomas. They got into it on Bloodlines because Tom kind of had a flirty thing with Cara Maria, and obviously Abe had come into the game and found out about it, so they were beefing. I think it would be funny to see how they work together. Probably not very well, but yeah, it would be funny. So for the formatting of the season, it'll alternate between boy and girl days. The last place team for whatever elimination day it is will go into the elimination automatically. If it's a girl day, the boys will vote, and if it's a boy day, the girls will vote for the other person. If there happens to be a tie, then the last place team gets to pick between the teams that tied to go in with them. So for the final, I've decided that I want it to be the final 3 teams of each side, and then that there's 3 stages to the final. The first stage is going to be 4 events, which are a 20-mile run, an eating challenge, a section that has like 5 math questions, and then like a weight transferring like type of station. And then the second stage would be puzzling, like a puzzle station and a swim, kind of like on Rivals 2, but except no one would get eliminated after. And then the third stage would be long mountain climb, similar to Rivals 1. And whoever has the best cumulative time, one from each gender, would win. So that's how it would go.